Hello dear viewer, welcome back to the channel. I'm Omar with Patterson Autos, and if you've been here a while, you know that I don't typically look like a lumberjack, so this could only mean one thing. Today we're talking about a CX-50, but not just any CX-50, it's the all-new CX-50 Hybrid. I've spent a lot of time in this car and it's been highly anticipated because it's a car that we built with a little bit of help from Toyota. This has the Toyota hybrid system that's shared with the RAV4 Hybrid, but it drives like a Mazda and, dare I say, it looks better than the competition. Which competition? All of them. Fight me in the comments about it. I just think that the rest look a little bit too boring. This is a little bit wider stanced and more aggressive, so it's right up my alley. So starting with the exterior, compared to the competition, I already mentioned this, it's a little bit more boxy, aggressive, and sporty, but compared to the CX-50 non-hybrid, this will seem a little bit taller because you have to accommodate that drivetrain and you don't want to lose the ground clearance, so the car's actually a bit thicker. And if you compare side to side, you'll notice a lot of that thickness happens in the cladding, which is proportionately adjusted. And if I hadn't mentioned it, you might not even notice it because they did such a good job making those proportions look right. The only real giveaway will be the hybrid badge on the fender and these new wheels, which, of course, it's a new design. That's not what I'm excited about. I'm excited about these new sizes. They're 17 inches and 19 inches, depending on your trim. This is a Premium Plus, so it gets the 19-inch wheels. The non-hybrid got 18-inch and 20-inch wheels, which some people thought were a little bit rough if you wanted to go off-road. This is a little bit more adequate, especially given the heavier car. And back here, not much has changed besides the addition of the hybrid badge and, of course, the fact that since the car is a little bit thicker, everything sits a little bit taller in the cabin, including the hatch, which, due to that added height, gains 1 point on my tailgate test. And if you're worried about that drivetrain taking your cargo space, worry not. You can still carry everything that you had before. You only lose about a cubic foot due to the 12-volt battery being back here, and there's still a spare under the floor. Now let's get in the back seat. Back here, things feel just a little bit different because the seat is raised to accommodate that battery. It still feels as comfortable as before though. I don't feel like I'm getting crushed into the ceiling, and it's a very spacious back seat. So for families, for example, who need to put a child seat back here, those things are massive. This is a no-brainer, and it actually feels really comfortable compared to the RAV4 Hybrid. I sat in it, so I'm allowed to say that. Now, in the driver's seat, there's a lot of features that I could be talking about in here, but I really just want to focus on the differences between the non-hybrid and the hybrid. Starting with the drivetrain, really, it's a proven Toyota hybrid system. I am not afraid of it. It's been around for years, and while it's the first time that we've put it in a Mazda, I think it's going to be a beautiful combination. I've been driving it for a while, and I actually really like it. Now, before I continue, there's one quick apology that I have to issue to many customers that I had over the year who heard me say, we don't use CVTs in our brand, and if we start using one, I will quit. Well, the day has come that we now have a car that has an eCVT in it, and I don't hate it. In fact, I don't even really dislike it, so to those that heard me say that, I'm sorry. I'm here to stay for a little while. Now let's get into those differences. The dash is greatly the same with just a couple of added elements. So instead of a tachometer here on the left, you have a charge meter that shows you how much power you're using or if you're recharging with regenerative braking. And over here, you have an EV button, which will aim to keep you in an electric-only mode as best as possible. Now, mind, since this isn't a plug-in hybrid, there's not that much juice coming out of the battery alone, so anytime that you give it a little bit more gas, it will turn that engine on to assist. And on the other side, you have the Mazda Intelligent Drive switch, which will bring up a couple of different names for the different driving modes. What used to be Sport, Normal, and Off-Road is now Power, Normal, and Trail. Perhaps names better suited for a hybrid. And between those two is the shifter, which I just today noticed is different. It looks like it's wrapped in the Mazda leather, but I'll bet you those internals came from the Toyota parts bin. The release is definitely the giveaway. The noise. While we're at the shifter, it's worth talking about that eCVT. It is tuned to drive more like a Mazda, as I've mentioned, and they did a great job with it. So you'll feel it downshift when you're in that power mode. And you can still select between your 6 now simulated gears. So you move the whole shifter to the left, and now you're going forward to downshift, back to upshift. And like the non-hybrid CX-50, all-wheel drive will be standard for this model, which isn't always the case with the competition. Horsepower is a little bit higher at 219, but since the car is also heavier, I think that it's properly paired and they'll feel very similar. Don't forget to subscribe so you can catch the test drive. The biggest difference will be the fact that this gets you a combined fuel efficiency of 38 miles per gallon and over 100 miles more range than the non-hybrid version. The only downside is that with only a 1,500 pound towing capacity, Mazda really doesn't recommend that you do that, but for carrying bicycles or the like. So really, unless you need to tow a boat, this is a great solution for a lot of active lifestyles. If you're ready to experience it yourself, visit us at Tustin Mazda or Huntington Beach Mazda, where we will be happy to take excellent care of you. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings with the RAV4, I just think this is a much better car, and I hope you like me just enough that you'll subscribe so I can catch you on the test drive. I'll see you then.